We hurt people that love us, love people that hurt us. Hurt people that love us, love people that hurt us. Hurt people that love us, love people that hurt us. Hurt people that love us, love people that hurt us.
Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your man Royalty Real here today. And next to me is the lovely
Lay the Bae. Y'all already know what's up.
And we're giving you that raw
Educated
analysis.
of life, baby.
And today we're gonna be analyzing that word love. We're gonna be talking about love today, guys. This is gonna really get deep. Love and healing. I think this conversation is so relevant today. We really, really need to talk about this. So guys, I'm gonna have Lay give the definition of love and healing, and we're gonna talk about that.
Alrighty, guys. So according to Google, love is an intense feeling of deep affection. I repeat, love is an intense feeling of deep affection. But there's also a second definition, which is a great interest and pleasure in something. It doesn't say someone, it says something. Interesting. And then healing. Healing is the process of making or becoming sound of health again.
Oh, I like that.
You like that? I'm going to repeat that just because you said that. The process of making or becoming sound of health again.
Yeah, I really think that is really necessary. I think that we've all been in that we've all been in that place of heartbreak before. Like I have. And a lot of times, like the advice your friends would give you, especially back in the day, was, well, the best way to get over somebody is to jump in it with somebody else. Like, it's just like, so you hurt still and not even able to process it. Like, I know a lot of past relationships where I was really hurt and then I just tried to find the next person as quick as I possibly could, even though I knew I didn't care for them or anything, but I wanted that feeling of affection and love again. So I did anything to get it because I was still hurting. And I think that in today's society, we need to be healed before you can have a healthy relationship, because otherwise you just what's called trauma bonding. You know, like you guys are both hurt and you guys are bonded over that hurt instead of healing. Like you need to be coming to the relationship as your best self. That's how I feel. You don't become your best self with the person, you know? Go ahead.
Facts. You know what they say? They say hurt people hurt people.
Yes.
You understand? So when you come into a situation with baggage, and it doesn't necessarily have to be bad baggage, but baggage that you have yet to heal from your past, it makes it a lot difficult to enjoy that person, enjoy the moment, enjoy the memories, and just be fresh. Because you're thinking about everything that has happened to you or you've gone through, so you traumatized a little bit. And through that trauma, you're not even understanding that you're hurting the person that you're supposed to be in this relationship with. You're supposed to be well. Exactly. So definitely, I can definitely relate.
Yeah, I can admit that I've done that in past relationships where I came in and I thought I was ready for something else, but I wasn't, because the instant something happened that would trigger a thought of that other person, I would compare them to that other person, and that's not healthy because they're not them, you know, like, and that's really wrong to do to somebody, is compare them to somebody else. Like, you're not that person. You didn't do these things to me. But it's easy to say, well, my ex did that. You doing the same thing they did. And that's not right to that person or fair to the person that you're with.
I don't know. For me, it's always been, I never let my past, come in between my future. I never treated anyone that I've been with the same way that I treated the past, because everyone's different. Everyone's personality is different.
Facts.
What someone else brought to the table may be different from what you bring to the table.
Right.
And so for me, I always feel like you have to deal with people accordingly, because some people are sensitive. Some people are, they don't have a sense of humor. They take this too seriously, or they take this too lightly.
Yeah.
So it's all about getting to know your partner. I believe it's all about getting to know your partner. For me, being in relationships, I would say, I started liking boys like around 7th grade, right? 7th grade. I really wasn't in a real relationship until I was like 17, and I was dating someone older. And so, nowadays, a lot of people frown upon older men dating younger girls, but it was done back in the days. Women marrying men that were 10, 20 years their senior because of the sense of security that was being given to them. So love ain't had nothing to do with that. It was all about the sense of security, the sense of, being able to be financially stable with that person. But love didn't have too much to do with it.
Right.
At all. For me, I feel like even with marriage is a business. You marry your business partner. No, I was saying with marriages, marriage is a partnership.
Definitely.
Marriage is something that I don't think that love should be even in the conversation. Because when you get divorced, guess what? Nobody talks about love. Everyone talks about who's going to take this and who's going to take that. So I feel like if with marriage is a whole different ball game as opposed to you just dating someone. And then when do you throw out that word love? Because again, the word love means an intense feeling of affection. So how intense does your love have to be?
I think a lot of people, I'm gonna read the definition of this word. They mistake love for infatuation. Infatuated means possessed with an intense but short-lived passion or admiration for someone.
So you're infatuated.
Yes, it's a big difference. It could feel the same because it's intense, but it's short-lived. I always thought of love as something that's persevering. The true test of love and infatuation is have your first argument.
True.
Have your first disagreement. How do you feel after this? Because you could be infatuated with somebody, because everything's perfect, especially in that beginning dating phase, because
everything's sweet.
Yeah, you putting on a mask. You're not showing your real self because you want to show that your manners. You want to show that the good parts of you. But when the negative parts of you start to come out, that's the real test. Because you could snap out of it real quick. And I've been there too, where I like you really a whole lot right now, and then 5 seconds later, something changes in my mind. Like, oh no, that's. But if you do love somebody at that point, it's like, okay, I didn't like this, but I still love the person.
And then now we got to get into this, right? In love. I read one time it said that when you love someone, you can love anybody. I can love the way you treat me. I can love the way you make me laugh. I can love the way that you cook for me or something like that, right? But when you're in love, when you're in that intense moment of affection, what does that feel like? What is it? And how do you know that it's there? You understand? Would some people have to go through a lot of heartbreak for them to understand what being in love is? Or do you automatically know love at first sight, googly eyes and shit?
I honestly don't believe in love at first sight.
Why?
Only because you have to have that intense passion. So you can be infatuated at first sight,
Okay.
but the overwhelming feeling of love you cannot have. Love is something that's built. You have
Hmm.
to. It, like I said, it's an action. So no action is taking place. You know, like you fall in love with somebody. The more you get to know them, and the tests and trials and things that you go through, the successes that you have through a relationship, or even a friendship. You know, you can be friends with somebody, but because you've been through so much, you develop a love for them. You know, like it's different. You know, but I think just that instantaneous, like you like, damn, she fine. Ooh, I love. You know, it's y'all might have both thought the same thing at the same time. You know, like I love this person, or I like this person,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's a difference between love and infatuation.
Well, let's take it back now, right? When we're born, we don't really know what love is, clearly, right?
Yeah,
We're
right, right.
So what we are shown is what we interpret as love. So it all begins at home. What type of love were you getting at home? What type of affection were you getting at home? And how would that translate when you now get into a relationship in your teenage years, in your adulthood? How does that translate when you're now having to okay, yeah, how does that translate the love that you've seen at home to you now being an adult and being in a relationship? Because a lot of women feel like when a man beats them, that's love.
Right. Right.
That's sick to me. If a
I,
man cheats on you, oh, he loves you. What?
I literally just had a conversation with a friend, and I'm not gonna mention her name, the other day, but she was telling me that she's afraid for her life now because this man that she was with uh tried to get her high on cocaine first. She said she loves him, and then he raped her, and then he came back and apologized. Like the next year, but she still loved him, and I'm like, it drove me crazy because I wanted to just say, I wanted to shake her, like, what's wrong with you? Like,
What?
but at the same time, like, and he actually threatened to rape her again, and now she says she's done, but I don't know if she's really done because he said, "Why aren't you being physical with me anymore? Why aren't you being sexual?" She's in defense mode around you because you violated something of hers,
You took something from her.
right? So she's always going to be defensive. And then he told her, she told me his exact words is, "What do I have to do? Rape you again?"
See, I don't want a man to love me to death.
That's not
And
love.
I I have an uncle who ended up, committing homicide suicide. He killed his wife and then he killed himself. I don't want a man
Mm,
to love me that much.
mm-mm,
I don't want that type of affection. If
mm-mm.
it's getting to a point where you feel like you got to put hands on me or I have to put hands on you, we have to get physical, it might turn something violent. Yeah, it's time to walk away. Goodbye. See you later. Don't let the door hit you with the good Lord split you.
Yeah.
Because I want to live.
I think, like you said, it it matters your perception of love, and that's why
Right.
healing, like we talked about before, like from childhood trauma, is important before you can get into a relationship because you have to identify these things that happen to you and realize, okay, this was not love. Okay, you equated, your parents yelling at you and stuff with love, so you get in a relationship and you
Mhm.
yelling at each other. That's love. Is no, it's not. So you have to identify those things. So that's why I said it's important to be a full person when you come
Right.
into a relationship. You're not ready. Like dating is different than being in a real relationship. I encourage people to go date and stuff like that, but don't get serious until you're healed because all of those little sneaky things are going to identify themselves in a real relationship.
Hmm.
All of those issues are going to come out. Like they're going to show themselves for real in a real relationship.
See, but that's the thing too, right? Is that a lot of people get into relationships so that they don't have to deal with themselves. So
Mm,
you know you got issues. You know you have problems. You know that you have traumatic events in your life that has caused you to be this person that you are. And now you want to put that burden on someone else instead of you fixing yourself because you don't know how to deal with yourself. You don't know how to tell yourself the truth. You don't know how
Right.
to sit here and say, hold up, let me check myself a little bit. I may have been wrong in this situation. You don't know how to take accountability and responsibility for your actions for whatever reason. And again, it comes back to how you were raised, how was love shown to you.
Right.
You understand? You got the women who didn't have a father. So what they out here doing, looking for a daddy figure. They're only looking for a father to love them. You understand? And then if you had, see, that's why I say too much of anything is not good for you, right? Because if you love your child too much, then you spoil the child. So now you just raise a spoiled little girl or a spoiled little boy.
My
But then,
sister.
and then if you don't, but if you don't give them that love and affection, now you've caused trauma, extra trauma, because now this child does not know what love is and does not know how to translate that to another person.
Not at
Love
all.
isn't just kissing and having sex. Love is sharing.
Right.
Love is communicating. Love is showing empathy and consideration and compromising. That's love.
I feel like love is also vulnerability.
Yes.
One of the best phrases my friend told me to this, he told me this at 18. He said his definition of love is giving someone the ability to destroy you, but trusting them not to.
Hmm. That is
Because,
true. I
because
agree.
if you really do love somebody, you're going to be vulnerable. They're going to know all of your flaws. They're going to know
Mhm.
all of your weak points. And then at that point, it's their job to guard it just as much as you guard those weak points to protect each other from these certain things. Okay, I'm not going to push this button and this button because I know these are soft points on you. So, but I feel like a lot of times people take advantage of that and push those buttons. They know that they're weak. Like, we've all seen the argument. That's why your mama don't love you. That's why
Mhm.
your daddy left when you was little.
No, no funny. I'm not gonna lie, right? So my child's father, his mother once said, I wish I would have swallowed you. And everybody was like, whoa, right? But then when you see his actions, I look at him and be like, I know now I see why your mother said she should have swallowed you. You understand? Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Because I took something that's vulnerable and I took something that possibly may have traumatized them and I used it against him. You understand? But sometimes you see why people are the way they are just by surrounding yourself around their family. Their own family is gonna let you know what's up all the time.
I think that it really comes down to how you what's the word? How do you I just totally lost train of thought.
How do you safeguard or you keep
Yeah,
that?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I feel like we all do that. Like we all have
Mhm.
done that because out of intense anger, because especially when you do love somebody, that could bring out the anger in you because you expect better from them.
Right.
You expected so much better and they disappointed you. So it gets so angry, you get so angry that you throw out things that you shouldn't throw out. But
Mhm.
we need to realize I think a part of it is we don't know how to deal with the situations that are in
You
front of
just
us.
said something. You just said the word expectations. I think that expectations ruins a relationship. I don't give a damn what type of relationship it is. Expectations ruin it
Right.
because when you come into a situation expecting, you know what they say, closed mouths don't get fed, right?
Mm,
So if
mm.
I'm expecting something of you and I haven't communicated that from you, and I'm sitting here thinking that you know what I know is going on in my head, mm, we kind of going a little bit backwards here, a little bit, people. You understand? I cannot expect you to think what I'm thinking, and you can't either. That's why the line of communication is always very important. I'm not even gonna go too far, right? I was married. I got married at the age of 24.
Mm.
I got divorced. The reason why I got divorced is not because the man wasn't financially taking care of me. He did a very good job at that. It wasn't because I didn't feel safe around him because he did a very good job at protecting me also. But what he did was he mentally abused me. And unfortunately, mental abuse is something that you cannot prove unless you're living in it yourself, right?
Right.
So for me, it's like you knew all my vulnerabilities. You knew that my mental health, and it's not that I'm sick or I'm crazy or anything like that. It's that I overanalyze. I'm an overthinker. You understand? Don't let me go inside my own head and make me believe what I want to believe, because it's going to be a whole nother thing. But you took that, knew that, and you try to use it against me. That's scary.
Right. Right.
That's scary for someone to know you that well, to the point where they're able to manipulate and use what they know about you against you, and not for the better, for the worse. Yeah, gotta go. See you later.
Yeah, I've definitely been there
Uh-uh.
before, where I get you picking at things that are just so sensitive. That's why, like you said, a marriage is a contract. Like you're supposed to understand each other so well that, okay, this is their weak points. Okay, I think you should, honestly, that's a conversation that you should have when you're getting with somebody. What are your weak points? What are
Right,
your weak points? What are your strengths? Okay,
right.
can we I
We
can
got to do a
feel
SWOT analysis in this motherfucker right now.
exactly. And trade off, okay, you're not good at that. It could be as
Yeah.
simple as, I'm not that good at cleaning up. Okay, but you are, but you're better at organizing than I am. Okay,
Mm.
how do we put those two things together? Okay, you make the plan, I execute.
One hand washes the other, both hand washes the face.
Exactly.
It's supposed to be one yin and yang. You understand? The man leads, the woman follows. The man provides, the woman maintains. Everyone is, at this point, is supposed to play their role here. And
Definitely.
sometimes I feel like the man plays too much of a female role, and sometimes the female plays too much of a man role. You cannot wear the pants and the skirt. You got to choose one. Because now you're making it more difficult, because again, you came in already with a bunch of shit.
Right, right.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Now we're creating more shit. So where do we get to the love part?
Right.
If we now have to fix everything that we're dealing with, all these little petty little miscellaneous things, where is the love?
I think it comes to a certain point we have to realize that maybe you're not ready for love. Realizing when you're not ready is just as important as everything else. Because a lot of us aren't ready for love when we think that we are. When you're not ready for it, you're just going to do nothing but hurt the other person, and you're going to hurt yourself in the long run, even if you have the best of intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I hear people say, well, I can fix somebody. You can't. Somebody has to be willing to fix themselves. Now it's a difference between fixing someone and meeting them where they are. And, like, that's the good part of a relationship is, like I said, you're good at something and they're good at something. Or you're like figuring that out. That's not fixing somebody. But if somebody is broken already, how can you what are they're broken already? They have to fix themselves before they get with you. You can't fix them. You can't I'm gonna show them love again. It's just like, well, how are you gonna show them love again when they don't even know how to love themselves at that point? Because I've been broken.
How are you gonna show someone something they never had? How can I show you something you never had?
There is an old Kendrick song. I'm gonna look it up right now. But it was one of my favorite Kendrick songs from back in the day. I'll edit this part.
Is it love?
No, it was
Cause that used to be my shit. Could you love me?
Oh, that was the shit, but it was old. It was on his album before he got famous. It was called Overly. The album was called Overly Dedicated. I think it was Opposites Attract.
And that's another thing too, right? Is that sometimes people give too much of themselves to where they lose themselves.
Yes. Yes. The song is called Opposites Attract. And if you haven't heard the song, I suggest you guys go look it up. But the lyrics, hold on. I know. I remember the hook. He said, "We love people that hurt us and hurt people that love us."
Ain't that the truth?
For real.
Ain't that?
I'm gonna read the lyrics to the first verse. He said, "Why you gotta be so kind-hearted? Why you couldn't be a con artist? Why you couldn't be mischievous, a little devious the moment that we first started? You never asked for nothing, just a little time. Why you let me use your cars? Why you let me use yours because I don't got mine? Why you always lift me up when I'm completely giving up?" Like he going down like things that are healthy things to do, but he don't understand that. Like why do you do these things? Why that's like it's intense. Like that's a deep song. Like it really came to my mind. I think that was meant to be. It came to my mind like that because like I would think about it and it's like that's really, really real. We hurt people that love us and love people that hurt us.
Well, for me, I look at it like this. When I come into a relationship, I come in with laying all my cards on the table. Now, there are certain things I'm going to have to baby walk you in because it's just that deep. But the obvious are things that I feel like you should know, right? So therefore, you have an option. Either I'm going to deal with it or I'm not. So that's the first step. Giving that person the option to want to deal with what the fuck is about to come to them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like to fake it till they make it. So from the outside looking in, you're thinking, oh, snap, this person is this person is that. Then you come to realize, oh, this person is a fuck person. Exactly. This person is a narcissistic person. So in the beginning was a front. Now we're starting to see that, like you said, that mask come off little by little. And so you waste your time. And that's another thing. Time, people, cannot be given back. I can get money back. I can get clothes back. I can get anything materialistic back. Time is something you cannot get back. So when you sit here and you come into someone's life without any regard or any consideration for that person's time or for what that person's already been through, especially if they already been through some bullshit, and you're just coming on to pile more, like, come on now. You just wasted our time. And so I be feeling sorry for people who be 5, 6, 8, 10 years in, and you not wasted this person's time.
Yeah.
There's people getting divorced now and they've been married for like 20-something years.
I think a big part of that reason is they were masking so hard. And when the pandemic hit, we were going to talk about that in another podcast. It really revealed who they were. Like, if you're at work most of the time and y'all only see each other, like, in these, like 2 trains passing in the night, you're not going to know each other. Now you forced to face each other, forced to see all that ugly shit. And it's just like, yeah, I'm going to check out. I didn't sign up for this.
Right.
Before you was at work.
Who are you?
Yeah, right. I didn't see this part of you before. Go ahead.
But that's the thing though, right? Is I want to get to know that side.
Exactly.
I want to get to know the good, the bad, and the ugly. I don't want no surprises. I do not want it to be 4 years in and now I find out that you a woman beater. If he put his hands on you once, he'll do it again. And that goes for women too. You ain't my parent.
Right.
My mama can't even, my daddy don't put his hands on me. So you putting your hands on me, that don't even register correctly in my brain.
To me either. So I think it's important to have those real conversations, because when I was on a dating scene years ago, I had conversations with people and it was like blowing my mind because I wanted to have real conversations. Yeah. And they were like, I started asking questions and they was like, oh, I don't really ask questions. I just see stuff. I just, I feel it out. Like, I'm asking real questions. Surface level stuff is cool. Oh, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite drink? All of this stuff that's cool. I think first date, that's what that's for. Yeah. Second date, third date, after that, start asking some real questions. Why did your last relationship end? What
tell you right now, if anyone sits here and says, well, I don't want to talk about the past, they got something to hide. They're either still fucking their ex, they got something going on, they have something to hide. Someone who is afraid to speak on things as simple as that, got something to hide, baby.
Exactly. Yeah, I was always like, I think that's one thing I've always been willing to do is realize my flaws in my past relationships, and I tell the truth. Now I do believe people can change, but it takes an effort to change. So I tell the truth, like, hey, this relationship didn't work because I was not ready. I did things wrong. You know, like, I'm gonna be straight honest. One of my relationships, I was unfaithful. Now, me being unfaithful was my fault.
Right.
But the reason why I was being unfaithful wasn't my fault.
Okay.
My mistake was I should have told her how I felt instead of dipping out. But I was so involved, and I thought that, you know, marriage is forever. You don't give up. You know, I didn't think that divorce was a real thing, you know, until later on. I didn't think divorce was an option for me. So I was just like, I'm going to just deal with being unhappy and deal with all of these issues instead of saying the real truth. Like, I'm not happy.
But do you see what you just did there, though, Royal? You took responsibility and accountability for your actions. We cannot control what someone else does.
Right.
But what we can do is understand that we are a reflection of one another. When you and I come into a relationship, you are a reflection of me. I am a reflection of you. Talking to you is like talking to me. Talking to me is like talking to you.
Right.
So if you out there acting a goddamn fool and you're supposed to be a representation of us, because what we're building is us, is ours, then you got me all fucked up, because now you got me sitting here looking stupid. You understand? There's a thin line between loyalty and stupidity. You're not going to sit here, keep hurting me, I'm going to keep forgiving you. Keep hurting me, I'm going to keep forgiving you. Keep hurting me, I'm going to keep forgiving you. Because I'm sitting here trying to prove to you that I'm loyal to you. No, that's stupid.
And that's what happened in that relationship. And it got to the point where, I don't know if you ever heard of the self-fulfilling prophecy, but she kept accusing me of cheating for 2 years when I was faithful. She was just like, it got to the point where one time I went to the trash can and she was like, what, you go see your girlfriend out there? I was like, I swear to God, you can see the trash can from the window. You can see where I went to. I went to the dumpster right here. But
that has played a lot with insecurity, though.
Yeah.
Insecurity, not loving yourself, not being confident. The number one thing a woman cannot buy in this world is confidence. Simple. And if you don't have it, look for it, try to find it, search for it. I don't know. Google it.
That's the perfect transition to the next part of this conversation, which is natural beauty and self-esteem. Because I always felt like, now I feel like this for real. I don't have a problem with a woman wearing makeup.
Okay.
Not at all. But is it for you? Or is it for the other person? Are you trying to present something else? Or because at the end of the day, that shit got to come off. You got to come off, and are you comfortable enough with yourself?
Are you gonna wake up like Princess Fiona? Or are you gonna wake up like this, like Beyonce did? Which one is it?
Right. I think
for
a
me,
lot of people. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think we live in a society where filters are the new thing. A lot of people don't even know how to post a picture without a filter.
Oh.
Or like they feel like they have to present a certain way to be like people's society. Like, no, be you. Be comfortable. But this is a much to me too, because I have to be comfortable with myself, because a long time I look in the mirror and see myself and I think I'm ugly. But that has to do with trauma from when I was younger, you know, getting bullied, people telling me that over and over and over and over again. But I have to start combating that, telling myself that I'm okay, because I started seeking that from other women. And I'm just like, you know, like, and that wasn't the right thing to do for me. I'm seeking validation.
Right. Well, for me, as far as natural beauty goes, again, it starts from home. My mom never wore weave. If my mom wore hair extension, it was braids. But she never wore like a weave, right? My mom doesn't wear makeup ever. I've never seen my mom wear makeup. But I've seen my aunts and my cousin wear makeup, but it wasn't that caked up makeup that you see people wearing, right? I grew up with a lot of hair, clearly, as everyone can see. So I was taught how to love myself from a very young age. I love my nose. I love my eyes. I love my big forehead. I love my hair. I love my fat toes. I love my fat fingers. But that's not something that I grew up learning how to do. It was something that was taught to me as a child. So as I got older, maybe because I do have a sense of humor, people never made fun of me. Like I didn't go through that bullying phase like a lot of people did, because I love myself too much. And there was really, what you gonna bully me about? Because in the projects, the only thing that they would bully a girl about or talk about was either she didn't have on the latest or she was bald headed. Well, I don't have that problem. So what can you bully me about? But I loved myself regardless of the fact. Like Beyonce could stand next to me and I still think that I'm the cutest one in the room. But that's my God-given confidence. That's my God-given energy. You understand? A lot of women don't feel that way. So they feel like they got to put the makeup, the ponytails, the wigs, all this extra shit. Makeup. You're making up for what it is you really don't look like. Forgetting that you have to take the shit off in the morning. And we have to see your natural self.
Exactly.
What are you so afraid of? What are you so afraid of? Then you want somebody to love you. Bitch, how somebody gonna love you when you don't even know who you are? You don't even know what you look like.
It reminds me of the episode of what was that? Fresh Prince, where the girl started taking off her wig, her nails.
Right.
Just like, who are you?
This is not the person I was on a date with.
Exactly. And you got to give somebody the opportunity to really know who you are, but be confident in that. And I think my self-esteem issues came from also my mom, because she wasn't comfortable with herself. My mom was a big woman. Okay. So she was not comfortable with that. And I found out later on, especially after she passed away, that my dad told me that she had a surgery when I was younger called a gastric bypass to lose weight. Okay. And afterwards, she got really skinny because she got sick, but really small, a lot smaller. Mm-hmm. And she said, finally, I'm not the ugly sister. I'm not the fat sister. She told my dad that. I had no idea. But she projected that onto me. She had told me, oh, you need to get an education and stuff because you're not that good looking. Nobody's going to date you because of how you look. Wow. And yeah. And that's why I'm really big on telling kids, like, you are beautiful. You are handsome. You are.
We have to instill that in our children from young. They have to hear it from us as adults, because if they don't, what they do is they go looking for it in other places. Why do young boys join gangs? They're not joining a gang because this is what the hell they woke up and wanted to do. They're in search for something. They're wanting and needing something that translates to love. It's not going to kill you to pay someone a compliment.
Exactly.
How many women? You understand? How many women do you see pay each other compliments every day? When I see a girl, she look. If your hair look nice, your hair look nice. Oh, I like those shoes. Oh, I like that dress. Oh, you working? Because I'm confident in myself. I'm not taking nothing away from me by giving someone else a compliment. I don't know. I'm not a hater.
I think a lot of people have that hating in them. Like even me, I do the same thing. I see a dude, oh, that's a nice beard, bro. Like, oh, you know, like I you compliment somebody and oh, that's gay to talk to, compliment a dude. Why? You know the stuff about that person. Why not just say it? Especially I say this, if don't miss the opportunity. If you see something on somebody or you are something they're wearing, just give them a compliment, because that could change the course of their day. Mm-hmm. They could have been having the worst day ever, but you just said, nice beard, bro. You know, thank you. You know, like whatever they were in their head about before, it was just like it brought them back to reality instead of staying in that negative space. Like, and natural beauty isn't so important to me because, like you said, people are comparing themselves to other people. But I always thought about this. Okay, there's two ends of the spectrum of beauty. Like, okay, especially in our community, there's the light skin and dark skin bias.
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
So you got like, but I think there's beauty in both. And I think like, okay, an example to me is Lupita Nyong'o. She is gorgeous.
Beautiful. Flawless.
Dark-skinned woman. And then you have Beyonce. Beautiful, light-skinned woman.
High yellow.
Right. But they're still both beautiful. And they have different features. They have different eyes. They have different cheekbones. They have different lips. So embracing who you are and find the beauty in yourself. And I'm starting, for me, I had to find something that I like about myself. And I started with my eyelashes. Because I started people used to compliment me on those, and I started noticing, well, I do got eyelashes. Like I got
start batting your eyes a little bit.
People pay for what I have.
Right. You know? That's what people say about my lips. They're like, you have animated drawing lips. Like, people pay for those lips. And I'm like, really? Oh, thank you. I actually get it from my mom. It's hereditary. My grandfather has a lip. He passed it down to her, and then she passed. Oh, my mother got the lip, so I don't feel extra special. It's more like, oh, thank you.
Yeah, and the thing is, for me, with these things, like accepting myself, how could I really expect someone to love me if I don't?
Hello. And you know what's crazy too? A lot of people think that men don't go through this either, that they don't go through insecurities. Why you think a nigga's always on your body? Oh, where you going? Height? He's insecure. You understand what I'm trying to say? He wants to be controlling. He's insecure. He's afraid that you're going to find something better than him because he doesn't find himself to be better. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He doesn't think he's man enough for you. So he's afraid you're going to find a man who's actually more confident, more of everything that he's not. That is crazy.
Oh, that is deep right there.
Ooh, you like how I just like,
yeah,
I just don't do that, right?
You got all into that.
Let me tell you something. How I figured that out was I was dating this guy, and one day I found he had a penis pumper in a shoebox. And you would never think that, he had a insecurity in that area because it's good, right? And when I found that penis pumper, I was like, damn, like men go through this shit too, huh? And then you start seeing men trying to, then for me, it was like, I never seen men, trying to like darken their beard because they don't want the gray hairs to show, or they getting hair implants and shit. And now there's something like, when I found the penis pumper, I didn't even know those shits existed. Like, you can make your dick bigger this way. Like, this is a real thing. Oh, so men do care about size. Oh, okay. So it's not just us females going through it neither. Men go through insecurities as well. It's just different levels of insecurity.
Exactly. And I think that's why it's important to not compare yourself to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
You are good enough for you. You are good enough for you. And then somebody will accept you for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're just being that healed, complete version of yourself, and they're the healed, complete version of their self, they're not going to seek anything else if you're meeting that need that they want. That's why, like, have those conversations. What do you need out of this relationship? Okay, right. I can meet that need. Okay, and we're constantly changing. So are you willing to change with that person too? Like, hey, now I need this, especially getting older, you might not be able to do as much. My back hurt now. So can you help me with this? Oh, this hurt. Can you, like, it's small stuff.
Dr. Umar Johnson says something in one of his lectures that he was having about Black relationship. And he says, love goes up, love goes down, love can even disappear. But if I can tolerate you for who you are without changing a thing about you, then that's the person you need to be with. Because like you just said earlier, I can't change you. You have to have that willingness within yourself to want to change. And then in hand can say, okay, well, I want to go through the process of this change with him. Or I can say, No, I do not want to go through the process of this change with him because I don't know how long it's going to take. Time, people. Every time we're talking about something, time is somewhere in there.
And ultimately, that's your decision. And you have to be willing to accept that either way.
And take what comes with it.
And if you don't like, if you like somebody and they said they're not willing to take that time before you to become that person, then that's not the person for you.
Right. The person I was just recently talking about with the penis thumper, he told me he wasn't shit. Like he was like, I'm no good. And I didn't believe him. You understand? Because in my mind, it was like, well, I can change you. I can change your perspective about yourself. And it wasn't even a year in when I was like, oh shit, this nigga really ain't shit. Like he really ain't shit. Like there's no helping him right now. Like I can't help him. I need to help myself right now and get the fuck up out of here.
Right.
But he warned me. So I can't be mad at him because he warned me. But that's when I realized that you really can't change anybody. The person has to be willing to want to change for themselves. And if they're not willing to change for themselves, or even their children, if they have some, then you don't need to be messing with that. That person got a whole bunch of shit they need to work out and need to deal with.
I think we have to realize that nobody's perfect. And life is about constantly growing. So if you feel like you're the finished product, then you're not in the right headspace. We're never going to be the finished product, you know, because there's people that are in their 90s that are still learning. I still have more to learn. So I'm not going to ever feel like I'm finished, but I'm always going to be that work in progress who's working to be better. Now you get to a certain point where you're healed and healthy. Like you said, it's getting back to that point of healthiness. Then you can be in a relationship and grow with that person, because you're both going to grow. You're both going to improve certain things, especially if you do love that person. You're going to want to be better for them. You're going to want to learn them to the point where, you know, like, hey, I got this, you got that. I got this, you got that. Let's come on. We can knock this stuff out instead of bickering.
True. And I think that for like the healing process is different, right? If you were just dating and you and that person were dating for like a couple of months, I'd say give it a season. Give it a season, right? Now, if you've been in this shit 5 years plus, you need about a year before you can really take off with anybody, because you need to shed off that energy. You need to shed off all of those spiritual demons that came with all that. You understand? You need to shed that off. That takes about a year. And if you've been married for over 10 years and you're talking about dating, yeah, you need at least a good 2 years and a half before you jump into something else.
Because living with somebody, you start picking up those habits. You were so used to something. So first off, you got to get yourself unused to this. And then you even if you did not like that person, they were meeting something for you.
Right.
And so immediately you're going to want that thing back.
Facts.
Whatever they were doing, that was the good thing. They could have been the terrible, they could have beat on you or whatever, but something in there was good. Okay, well, that nigga took out the trash at least.
Not for nothing. I'm laughing because I say that about my child's father, right? I'm not going to speak bad on him because he's still the father of my child, but he got a lot to learn. I'm going to say that. And sometimes I say to myself, well, damn, at least he used to clean out the bathtub out when he was taking a shower. I appreciated that. You understand what I'm trying? But it's, again, it has a lot to do with pain bodies. You understand what I'm trying to say? You healing yourself, learning yourself, because once you start to learn yourself and heal yourself, keeping everyone who's not for you away is going to be so much easier. Because when you're wrapped around all the confusion, all the social media, all the hype, y'all watching too much Love in Hip Hop Atlanta, to be honest with you. Okay? That is not your life. And your life can never be that way. Okay? Your perception is not their reality, and their reality is not your perception. So you have to get in tune with self. check yourself before you wreck yourself. Let yourself understand, understand, and overstand that there is something wrong, that you did have trauma, that your mother loving you not enough, is causing you to be this way, that your father leaving out or not being there for you at all caused you to be this person that you are today. These are some of the things that we got to start pinpointing. You understand what I'm trying to say? And then giving and allowing the other person the option to whether they want to deal with it or not. Because honestly speaking, I don't want to deal with somebody who had a sex addiction. That's too much. Because I don't want to fuck all day. I don't want to fuck all day, and I don't want to sit here and actually go through this process with you. I don't.
And which is, you are entitled to do that, and somebody else might be okay with that.
You understand what I'm trying to say? So now, guess what? I didn't waste your time. You didn't waste my time, because we already let each other what it was from the beginning. And now I'm allowing somebody else the opportunity who might just be feeling you a little bit more and who's willing to go through the process with you.
And then as two civilized adults, that's how you meet each other at a certain point and be like, okay, this didn't work out. I don't hate you. You don't hate me.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You go on about your life, and I can see you again and be like, hey, how you doing? Good. You can still have that understanding. You don't have to get to that point of hate. And that's what I don't want to ever get to again, because it hurts a lot. With my ex-wife, for a while, I could not stand her guts. Who that bitch? And it's crazy because in the process of writing my book, I actually had to get back in contact with her, because I wanted to ask her, I want my book to be authentic. So I asked her, could I use her real name? And she said, and her response was, it blew me away.
What she said?
She said, I'm gonna actually read it on here.
Oh, okay. Okay, we getting real live text messages.
Because this is the first time her and I had talked in 7 years.
Wow. But you see what I'm saying, though? You see how healing, if you would have never been healed, you wouldn't be able to even have that conversation.
Exactly. And
If
so
you would have never been healed, you wouldn't be able to have that conversation.
Her exact response to that was, OMG, Eldwin, what happened? If you feel compelled to share and it helps with healing the pain I caused you, that is fine. I grant consent. I will deal with any backlash based on who I was at that time. Also, I'm glad you have contacted me. I wanted to apologize for how I treated you and who I was. I didn't want to interfere with anything you had going on. All the best. Like, it almost brought a tear to my eye, because I was just like, you've healed to the point where, you know what, I need growth. I grew too, because I reached out to you and I didn't have no hard feelings when I did. And so like, we're to that point where, we can at least be cordial, and she doesn't mind me telling the real story.
But look what she said, though. She says, if I have to take the backlash for the person that I was back then for you to heal, that's beautiful. A lot of people are so afraid, because they want to be liked so freaking bad by society, by the people that they have around them, that they will compromise their own integrity, their own principles, morals, and values, and not understanding that sometimes you have to sacrifice that in order to make amends with someone else.
Yeah.
To help someone else heal from what you've done to them. And for her to say that, I'm proud of her. I don't know who she is. I'm proud of you. Thank you.
And when I write the book, I tell people all the time, people are going to see both sides, because I'm not going to be biased to, because there's going to be a lot of stuff when you read it about me where it's just like, oh, he was a shitty dude. Or some points whenever you be like, well, you're gonna take a side either way. You're not gonna be able to see. I'm not biased, so I'm willing to admit all my flaws.
Now let me ask you this, right? Do you believe that certain relationships that you've been in have been karma for the fucked up shit that you've done?
Yes, at times.
Okay.
I don't necessarily believe in karma, but I invited certain things in. because of who I was. So I got hurt like a lot. Or, you know, like I believe you give what you put out. So and not necessarily like the universe or whatever making things happen, but you seek out certain things and you get it back. Somebody you seeking this person out and you're not looking at these certain things, so you're gonna get what you don't want. So instead of having that honest conversation, which is so important, I think we should really make a real dating guide, like for people, like those questions you need to ask, because it's really important. I'm not a dating expert at all, but it's important to know something about this person for real, other than the surface level stuff. It's important to know what makes you mad. What happens when you get mad? What when you get really angry, are you liable to punch somebody? Are you liable to go walk away and go to your, like what
is your violence level?
Exactly.
Do you condone violence?
Exactly.
And you think that you're throwing this all at one time and somebody like, God damn, like what the fuck? But don't understand that these questions are important. These questions are important to be asked, as you fuck around, wake up next to Ike Turner.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the fact is, you have to believe, like you said, your ex told you he wasn't shit beforehand.
Yeah, he did.
Sometimes people don't say it in as many words. Believe who they show you they are. If you see these flags at the beginning, if you see these things where, you know, y'all got into the first argument and he like, oh, I just wish I could.
Ladies, if a man, let me not say a man, because there's a difference between a man and a nigga. If a nigga comes to your house with a PlayStation and a TV and that's all he comes with, he ain't no good. I'm telling you that right now. Okay? Gentlemen, if a woman, if she goes out with you all the time and she's expecting you to pay, she'll go digger. Leave that bitch alone. You don't want that. Okay? These are little jewels. Little jewels. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Exactly.
And I don't talk about shit I haven't been through or been around. You feel me? So experience is the best teacher of life.
Exactly.
Because we had to go through things from a very young age in order to understand what love is, interpret what love is. Sometimes the definition that we grew up with can change by dealing with someone who probably did have love and they say, hey, no, that's not love. Let me show you what love really is. And then you have people who come into your life and fuck up what you already know.
Exactly.
And fuck it up even more and be like, well, damn. You understand? We have to love ourselves first and foremost. Love yourself. Loving yourself is very important. Making sure that your mental health is very important.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that on another podcast. How important it is, and I really want to get a therapist and a psychiatrist, because that might be like a really big thing, because I want to get their opinions and thoughts. But you and I are examples of the journeys, because some of this stuff you can do by yourself, but therapy is important. Mental health, getting that in line is important. Talking to somebody, because maybe you don't have a friend, because sometimes friends don't give you really bad advice.
Friends.
They're gonna give you really.
Yeah, let's have them.
Sometimes you don't need to listen to what they say, because they're gonna give you the wrong advice.
For me, I don't even like when people do tell me things. I listen to the suggestion, right? And then I say to myself, if I apply this to my life, would it hurt me or will it help me? And if I see that it's not going to help me, then I just leave it alone. You understand what I'm trying to say? Because again, everyone's different. Everyone's different. You understand? Who's to say that this advice is going to help me? Who's to say it's going to break me? But it's up to you if you want to take it. And like you just said, don't listen to everybody, man. You listen to your heart.
I've seen a lot of women have those friends that, oh, this nigga cheating, girl, go bust out the windows to his car. Or
and it be that single friend.
Exactly. Go pop his tire, girl. Like
it be that single friend wondering why she ain't got no man and whatnot.
Instead of saying, okay, he's cheating, you found out for sure that he's cheating and getting the evidence, you don't deserve that. Leave that situation alone.
Just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone. That's good advice. Bad advice is going to something that possibly could get you in jail. because that man is cheating. Okay, they catch you on camera popping that man's tires. You damaging his property. You gonna go to jail. Like that's not
vandalism.
exactly. That's not good for you. That's not good for that. That don't show him nothing that you sitting in jail.
And don't think for 1 minute vandalism cannot escalate as a felony, because it can.
Exactly. Exactly. That's something that don't let these situations get you to where you feel like you're possibly gonna end up locked up.
I'm gonna tell y'all, like I tell my little brothers, don't let a bitch trick you off the street, and don't let any man trick you off the street. It goes both ways, right? It goes both ways. You know, a lot of people say, well, you know, women cheat more than men. That's debatable. That's probably true. But if you go into a relationship with that mentality, you're already doomed. When you go into a relationship, you want it fresh. You want it new. You want it to be something that you've never experienced before. So if you're bringing your old shit into the new shit, then you're experiencing the same bullshit over and over again. Hence, love yourself, man. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. I'm sorry. I apologize. Sometimes forgiveness is not forgiving somebody else, it's forgiving yourself.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to forgive yourself for the shit that you put yourself through. Because you stayed in this situation too long.
Way too long. And I knew better, and I should have done better, and I could have done better. Right? So I got to forgive myself for even allowing myself or putting myself through that. It's just crazy, man. How this word love just like, it'll eat you alive.
I think we're gonna have a part 2 to this one, because this one.
This one was good.
This one's too deep. But one of the last things I want to say is, when somebody heals, I do believe somebody can change.
Yes.
So when you're going through that sharing process, and some people say, well, once a cheater, always a cheater.
No.
I don't believe that.
I don't.
Because I was one.
Yeah.
And like I said, I had to identify the reasons I was doing it.
Yeah, we was out here like Ramon Clears. Yeah.
I was out there for real. I was a dog. But I had to identify those things. And so in that question, you have to also ask somebody, okay, well, they say the last relationship ended because they cheated. Okay, what have you done since then to make yourself better? Okay, I identified why I did it. I made sure that I don't put myself in those situations. And I promise, for me, it was a promise in myself that I would communicate when I felt there were issues.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes, sir.
So I'm going to identify things. So if I tell you, like, I don't like this, I'm going to tell you now, it's your job to say, hey, okay, so let's work on that, work on who you are, become better after every situation. Don't go back into the situation the same person that you were.
And when they say things like, once a good girl gone bad, she's gone forever. No, she's not. She's still in there. She's just waiting for that person, that man, to come into her life to make it easier for her to be that good girl. Because the same way a guy, had his heart broken at a young age, and so now he feels like, every woman is no good, is the same way a female can get her heart broken at a young age and think that all men are no good. And like I said, we could take this way back. Her father was no good. So then because of that, she thinks all men are no good. But all to say is that everyone is different. You give everyone a chance to show you who they are. Okay? Heal within first before you can give out and reach out to anyone else. Because you can't love anyone if you don't love yourself. If you don't love yourself, who are you going to love? You understand what I'm trying to say? Heal within yourself. And there's so many different ways of healing. It doesn't necessarily have to be yoga or spirituality or anything. You can take a walk in the park every day. Clear your mind. You're healing, though.
Exactly.
Love yourself. It's okay. You can take the makeup off. You can take the wig off. Show your natural beauty. I wish more women will be more natural today. See, back then we were natural. Yeah, we were doing the different hairstyles and stuff, but it was still natural.
Right.
With your bamboo earrings. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, we were natural. Let's get back to that. First step is healing. Let's heal first. Then we can learn how to love one another so we can be at peace with one another. It doesn't always have to be hate. It doesn't always have to be, oh, I don't like this person. No. And I can like you and not love you. I can love you and not like you.
Exactly. And when you get to that point of healing, things can happen like happened with my ex. Like, those things really happen, but we both had to accept those things that we did messed up. And now we're allowing each other to process it how we want to. However you feel like it, that's what you need to do. It's not going to affect me none if you tell everybody that he was such and such when I was with him. Okay, yeah, I was.
That's fine, because I was.
I was. Like, okay, accept that. Accept that. Don't care how somebody else looks at you about something, because you know how you are and how you change. So,
accountability, responsibility, communication, compassion, consideration is going to go a long way.
Those are all really adult words. That means you got to grow up and be an adult first. You got to really know how to be grown first, because a lot of these people say they're grown and they're not. You still got that child's mentality. Because the child's thing is, I didn't do nothing.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
What I mean? Children are victims. Naturally. They're victims. And I don't understand why adults want to be victims for. I would not want to be in that state of mind. I can't be a victim. I'm a survivor. I've been through what I've been through, and I've been through it because it was a reason for it. Right. And I am beyond proud of myself for reaching. Yeah, I'm beyond proud of myself, man. I came a long way. I had to learn a lot. I've seen a lot. And, you know, the one thing I can say is that I'm so grateful to my grandmother for instilling that love of self within me. I think that if I didn't have that, I would have definitely broke a long time ago. But because I always had that level of confidence within myself, no matter what, I feel like that always pushed me to move forward and do better and understand that I do deserve better.
Definitely.
You know? So
this has been really great and eye-opening, and I hope that you all can get something from it. Mm-hmm. I really hope you guys can dive into it. Like I said, we're gonna do part 2 to this. Yeah. Definitely. I don't know exactly when, but this is the conversation that needs to be had. And if you have something that you want to say about this topic, you know, just hit us both up. You know, both of our social medias are in the comments, and you're welcome to message us, and we both respond. So absolutely, we appreciate you guys watching. We got some big guests coming up, most definitely, over these next few months.
Absolutely.
But we decided that we were going to do this one. So we appreciate you guys. And remember, I mean this too, we got love for all of you guys.
Absolutely. Facts.
So, like I said, this has been a great podcast episode. And it's been real, y'all. Peace.
She said